Welcome to episode 42.
Hi.
Diapers on a Plane vlog. Hi. Hello.
We are going to be talking about the Battle of the Christmases.
Oh yeah.
Christmas versus Christmas. We're going to be talking about
Home versus away from home, land versus sea, warm versus cold.
Okay, we have a note. This is our list of notes about all the things we have loved and not loved about spending Christmas at home versus away from home. And so that is the Christmas versus Christmas.
It's the age-old question. Which is better, vacation Christmas or home Christmas?
And I just want to say, all the children are wearing their beautiful Christmas clothes. We're going to have them do a little fashion show here in just a minute, because the Christmas clothes that we have this year will not be used to go visit Santa in person. They will not be used for a special Christmas celebration. So we are going to use them for something else, and that will be our Christmas versus Christmas. So let's get right into it. So we spent a lot of time thinking about what were all the things that we had enjoyed. Now, we've spent Christmas in a few places. Where are some of the places we've celebrated Christmas?
Iceland, Norway, Panama.
Yep, and then we have also traveled a lot during December. So we've been to Hawaii, we've been on a cruise, multiple cruises. We've been to Texas. Of course, we've celebrated in Oregon, we've celebrated in Utah, we've celebrated in Florida. And so we have celebrated in a lot of different places. And so we're just gonna talk about what are the differences between celebrating in different locations.
And I would like to point out, like, Christmas is the perfect time to be away from home, only because you always have Christmas vacation. You always have time off of work. And if we ever have anything more than 3 or 4 days off of work, we want to go somewhere.
Yeah. You got to utilize that time. Now, we are not full-time travelers. We did not sell everything to travel around the world, but what we do is we utilize the time that we have off, and we utilize it in big chunks of time. So like Gabriel just mentioned, we take 2 weeks off when we travel somewhere when we have breaks, or we spend the whole summer in a different location really exploring the culture and the cuisine and everything that we have to explore in a certain area. Like last year we spent 3 months in Korea. And so that's how we really utilize traveling around the world versus just spending, and we still have a home base.
If we have an opportunity to be on vacation, we will take that opportunity. Let's talk about some of the pluses for staying at home. One of the big ones is
Decorations.
Decorations!
Yeah. So home versus home away. Well, when you're away from home, and you're usually not living in your own home, it's not really beneficial to put up lights.
Well, I'd say maybe not beneficial, but it's also not cost productive, I think, to go buy lights and then cart them around with you,
Or
especially if you're flying.
Or if you want to leave them there.
Yeah, if you want to leave them there.
One of the things we really miss when we're away from home is the decorations. We love decorations. We love hanging lights. We love celebrating Christmas. We love the Christmas spirit.
We love being the brightest house on the block. Not biggest, brightest.
Yeah, we like being bright.
One year when Gabriel and it was just the twins, I'd won a huge set of lights at a Christmas party, and so we used all of them and put them on our house, and we were the brightest house on the block. Everybody commented on it, and it's been a tradition ever since then. So that is a big thing that is a big plus for staying home for Christmas. And then of course you have all the things that you pick up after the after sales at Christmas, and you store in the garage all year long. One of the things I miss when we're away from home is being able to hang a wreath. It seems like such a simple thing, but if you're in a place that doesn't have a hook on the door, then you can't hang a wreath. And I know they have those, they're like they're like reusable hangers, or they're like no leave behind a mess hangers.
Okay.
Anyway, we haven't used those. So that's one of the things.
I like making the indoor decorations out of crafts. So you can use. And away from home, it's harder to make indoor decoration.
Okay, what about Christmas tree?
And you can make Christmas toys out of cardboard, like like cardboard reindeer. Those can also be an ornament.
So when we've been away long enough, then we actually can have Amazon items shipped, and these kids love to take the cardboard boxes and cut them out. They've been making all sorts of candy canes. They have made wreaths out of them to hang around the house, and because they're lightweight, then we can still do that. So we are able to make do. You can go to any store and pick up a big packet of construction paper and make lots of different types of decorations. So you definitely can make do, but there are certain things absolutely, and every family is going to be a little bit different about what decorations you can have at home versus decorations that you would have to leave behind.
So we're from Utah, so one of the things we really love is having a big live Christmas tree.
Well, let's back that up. We're from Oregon. You do not have.
I'm from Utah.
We lived in Oregon for a decade. I think you can say that you are from Oregon.
I'm from Oregon from this point.
And you do not have artificial trees in Oregon. And I was just talking to a friend of mine, and this is the first year we've had an artificial tree due to our travels. And I said to her, this is so weird. It's the first time that we have had an artificial tree. And she's like, I've never had a live tree. And so that was just like shocking to me.
It's not Christmas without shedding pine needles, having to water the tree every day, and especially the smell of pine tree in your
the
house.
smell, yes. And for those who don't normally get a live tree, you want a noble pine. That is what you're aiming for, and I suggest everybody get one.
And the biggest tree, once we had a tree that was all the way to the ceiling, so it had to droop down, and the star was upside down.
Yes, we like big, tall, beautiful, fresh, lovely smelling trees. And what's another thing we do that's a little bit different than most families for our trees?
We put fruit on the tree.
Yeah, we do sliced fresh fruit, like
We like
grapefruit.
Cranberries, limes and lemons, grapefruit.
Okay, so one of the things, like when you're on vacation, we can't have a big tree.
Yeah.
So some of the things we've done away from home is like in Panama, the kids made a tree on the wall out of yarn. It's kind of weird, but you know, when you're in a it was creative.
We couldn't get a nativity, so we had
Nativity.
to do a nativity. So we had to make a green yarn Christmas tree on the wall with pipe cleaner ornaments.
Or in other locations, we've gotten a little potted pine tree, small pine tree, but definitely when you're away from home, you miss the big pine tree and your decorations that you save year after year. You just don't have
So ornaments, if you ever have any special ornaments that you always love to hang on the Christmas tree, you're obviously not going to have those if you're away. And then your stockings. So stockings is a big one. If you guys have personalized stockings, we do have personalized stockings. On occasion, we've taken them with us. On occasion, we've left them home. When we were in Scandinavia, we just used our Christmas boots, so that made it even easier. You could do that whether you're in Scandinavia or not. You could always go pick up a Dollar Tree Christmas stocking as well. So if you don't want to pay the expense or pack them with you. So there's lots of different options, but that's really the main differences that we have experienced when it comes to decoration. So let's move on. Yeah.
And when you're away from home, you don't get to do like your way of spending Christmas.
Right, so let's get into that. So traditions is a big thing. One of the big traditions we have celebrating Christmas is that we
is taking pictures with Santa.
Yes, and I'm going to go ahead and say that that's something that you can do home or on vacation.
Yes.
We have never had an issue with taking a picture of Santa. In Panama, we went to the mall and took pictures with a Panamanian Santa. If you're on a cruise, they've always got a Santa.
Yeah, Santa always comes. Well, he did on our cruise. I don't know about always, but he definitely came on our cruise and visited for a little while. Him and Mrs. Claus wanted a little Caribbean vacation before the big ramp up. So we got to do that. But for us, when we go visit Santa, of course, we always have we always dress really nice, and we have Christmas pictures from every single year. So if you want to pack your clothes, you got to think about that. So just different things that you want to think about. One year, I thought about packing our clothes, and I didn't because I didn't think we would see Santa, and then we did. So that year, we have just play clothes with Santa, and that's okay too. It's a fun memory, but that's a big thing. And then, of course,
cookies for Santa.
Yeah, and letters for Santa, right?
Yes.
Letters and cookies for Santa. That's always a big
and
deal.
carrots for the reindeer. And milk.
Yeah.
And what if your place that doesn't have an electric mixer or a hand mixer?
What do? You might have to
Use a whisk.
Buy cookies.
buy cookies. Yeah.
So we haven't ever had a problem. So as far as cookies, all the normal traditions, they're pretty easy to do at home. or on vacation. But some of the more difficult ones are...
Well, I will say, one time when we were away, we didn't have a cookie sheet. It's surprisingly remarkable to me how many Airbnbs don't have a cookie sheet, but they did have a drip tray, and we lined it with aluminum foil.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, so you just have to be a little creative sometimes.
So there are a lot of traditions that are pretty easy to maintain, whether you're at home or on vacation. But some of the traditions that are more difficult are things like work parties.
Yeah.
Are we on the list, Mama?
Right here.
So some of the cookies, the carrots, all that stuff are pretty easy to maintain. There are traditions that are pretty easy to keep, whether you're at home or on vacation. But some of the ones that you do miss out on when you're on vacation is family events, work parties, church events, those kind of things that happen year after year, that if you're away from, you cannot really replicate those on vacation.
I think one of the ones that we're missing this year is, last year we lived in a neighborhood that was crazy about neighbor gifts, and it was the first really neighborhood that we had lived in where they really went all out on neighbor gifts, and it was so much fun. And I was just actually telling Gabe just last night, I was like, I really miss that. I really miss that feeling of being in a neighborhood and having, just all the people, walking through the neighborhood, taking nightly walks and saying hello to everybody. So that's one thing that you also want to...
Yep, so you'll experience other cultures, you'll create new traditions, but a lot of the old traditions will be left at home when you're away from home. Just the way. One of the traditions that we really have been keeping, which is a little non-traditional. What's so funny?
Just the way you said it.
Is a little bit non-traditional, is every Christmas Eve, what do we like to eat?
Chinese food.
Chinese food. You know what? There's actually a surprising amount of Chinese restaurants in the world, so it's not always a hit and a miss. But like in Norway, for example, on Christmas Eve when every store shut down, a little bit hard to find Chinese food. So there's some non-typical traditions that we have a hard time keeping up, even on vacation, even though sometimes we're able to do that.
Yeah, so we try and keep as many traditions as we can, but yeah, like sometimes you just can't do them. And that's okay, that lends to the different experience that you have, and you get to add different things to it.
I think we did Panda Express one time.
Yeah, probably.
Sad.
There's so many Panda Express. You have to do that at least one time.
That's right.
So let's talk about things you have to prepare for at home versus away.
Yes, you had some milky. Let's go get some
Present.
crackers.
You have to prepare if it's not going to snow or not.
Present. So going away for Christmas, yeah, isn't like a typical...
That was a really good point. Yeah, you have to prepare if you're going to a warm place or a cold place, if it's gonna snow or not. So luggage is a big thing when it comes to being prepared for Christmas. Of course, in a different place rather than home, you have to think about luggage. What kind of luggage do you have to take, and especially what do you have to pack in that luggage? So we have gone one year, this was the craziest year, we went on a cruise in the Caribbean, and then straight from the cruise we went to Norway and the Arctic Circle. So we had to pack for both extremes, and then on top of that we had to pack all of the Christmas presents because we weren't going to be in a place early enough that we could have things shipped or even go shopping.
Now the question is that something we'd do again?
It was amazing.
No, I don't. It was a fun experience to do once, but I think I would separate the two.
Right.
That's one thing, is be really prepared for where you're going.
Switch to me.
Because remember, you have to pack for Christmas and vacation,
Right.
and it's a little daunting.
Right, and you don't want to pack Christmas wrapping paper, and you also might not be able to find it depending on the time of year that you're traveling or when you're arriving. And so...
Are they even use wrapping paper?
And so you have to have all those things wrapped in advance. Now what we do is we wrap the presents and then we pack the ribbon and scissors and tape. So half the work is done, but your ribbons will get all crushed. So that's kind of how we have navigated it in the past. But it's a lot of work. I mean, if you're gonna be away, you kind of trade a lot more work, but for like a really cool experience.
Yeah. So obviously Christmas at home, you have totes with Christmas decorations. They're kind of hanging out there for you. Year after year.
Yeah, and you can just pick them out and go on your merry way. But you got to be really super prepared, and that means also planning. What the gifts are going to be in advance, and if you have multiple kids, how many presents each one's going to get, and is it is it gonna be even? And do you have to run out and get last minute things? And for two people, this may not be a big deal to other people, but for the two of us, when we are not necessarily always on the ball or planning things in advance, that's a pretty big deal.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I mean, conveniently, when you're having Christmas at home, you don't have to pack your clothes. They're just there already.
Or presents.
Another big thing is remember that everything you pack, you're going to have to lug around with you. So it kind of goes back to what Gabe was saying, like, would we do it again? We totally didn't tell the story about how our luggage was broken. On the first leg of our trip, we had to keep carrying it around with us. Then our luggage was lost on the same trip when we were trying to get on a flight with our Christmas presents and we didn't get them. You can check that video out. But, you know, these are all things you have to take into consideration because, again, you're not at home, you don't have that reliability, and there's lots of things that can go wrong.
Wait, but where did the duct tape come?
I still don't remember why we had duct tape.
I packed it because you never know. Duct tape
Yeah. All right.
saves lives. Okay.
We
All
left
right.
the phone on the plane.
I don't think we've left a camera. We left a camera on a plane.
Well,
And if
we
you have too much
taxi.
stuff, what are you going to leave behind? What was that?
Or a taxi.
Or in a taxi. Yep.
So one of the packing traditions you have, like we talked about, ornaments and that kind of thing, but there are other things you have to research for. For example, we did a cruise, a Disney cruise, during the Christmas season, and there's a lot of expectations that you don't know about. What kind of things do they do on a cruise?
When you're on a cruise, instead of doing lights, you do Christmas magnets because the doors are like fridges because they're magnetic.
Yep, so everyone puts Christmas decorations on the doors of their cabin. What else do they do?
They do wreaths. Do they ever do
Wreaths.
the metal wreaths? You carry that. It's so heavy.
Do you remember what they did?
I know that's true.
They don't really do that. They do lots of Secret Santas.
Yes, tons of those on a cruise. So you've got to pack all these gifts. You've got to pack all these magnets. So just extra things that you want to think about when you're packing. And then of course, like for us, we typically pack light, but we like to have extra room in our luggage so that we can bring home stuff. So you have to consider it on both ends, going and coming back.
I have an idea. You pack a small luggage, and then you put that luggage in a slightly bigger luggage, so that then you close that one up, so then you can bring that, and then when you want more stuff, then you can just have like one more suitcase.
Did you think of that on your own?
No, you did it.
That's right, we did. We did that when we went to Korea.
I'm pretty sure it was in Japan where we bought this big suitcase, and it had a smaller luggage in the inside.
We had to get extra luggage when we came home from Japan. That's right.
Yeah. When you think about Christmas at home, on Christmas Day, what kind of food do you think of?
Ham, orange rolls.
I asked the kids.
Oh, sorry. I'm a child.
Chinese food.
Okay, that's Christmas Eve.
What do you think about Christmas Day? Figgy pudding.
We don't cookies sometimes.
So, okay, I will chime in here. So ham, Christmas rolls, mashed potatoes, all the American food that we're used to, right? Relish trays, deviled eggs,
Fruit salad with
Yep.
cream on it.
fruit salad with cream on it. So when you're on vacation, having Christmas somewhere else, you may not have access to those Christmas comfort foods that your family is used to. Which for us, I think is totally okay because we really love trying new foods. We love going somewhere with different cultures and different types of foods. But if you're not, if that's not your thing, you may have a bad time.
Yeah, so we have loved learning about and basing our Christmas dinner off of what they eat in different locations, and we've discovered a lot of our favorite foods doing that, our new favorite foods.
Yep.
And for the presents, especially when the baby already knows how to crawl out of the crib, go out in the night and start unwrapping everything.
Yes, that is a concern.
That happened with our dog once.
It did, yes. We had a dog that loved to unwrap presents. Probably many dogs like doing that. All right, so packing sorry, you were on the food. Let's move on to food. We do not have special Christmas dishes, but I know that is one thing that we considered when we were talking about this blog, is just what were the types of things that we would miss having. And Christmas dishes is one of them. Growing up, we always had these really special Christmas dishes that we used every Christmas, and you know, if you're away from home, you don't get to use those. So
I remember Panama that did have something that you could make cookies with. So we had all these peppermint lollipops.
Yeah.
And we crushed that and then put it in the cookie mixture.
yeah, so I think the lesson here is just sometimes you got to be a little bit ingenious and think outside the box.
And creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thinking about food, that's one of the things where it's usually a very social gathering. Usually people come over to have Christmas dinner. You spend a lot of time with friends and family, and typically on vacation away from home, it's just your family. So either you're cooking food for just your family at your hotel or Airbnb, or you're trying to book a restaurant where a lot of them may be closed on Christmas as well, but it's definitely a lot more small gathering.
Yeah, and that goes back to preparedness too, is, you know, if you're in a country that closes down and you need to eat on Christmas, like you do, you need to plan in advance to have your reservations ready to go. So, all right, and then of course culture. Culture is a big one. And we've kind of touched on this throughout all the other things that we've talked about, but you leave behind a lot of your culture when you go to another country, and you. What are we doing? But we adapt and adopt a lot of new cultures. Yeah, so we adopt a lot when it comes to food. We adopt a lot when it comes to shopping and going to Christmas markets, especially in European countries. Especially like we've talked about previously in Iceland, you adopt the Christmas culture of eating fermented fish, or reindeer on Christmas, or having Santa come in a different way when you're in a new country. So
yeah, I think that's probably my favorite part of spending Christmas away from home is you really get a good perspective on how the rest of the world celebrates Christmas.
So we've really gone over, yeah.
And how if you're in Iceland, you lads do it they'll slam your door shut if you leave it open.
And the different kinds of Santa Clauses.
And don't leave your sausage out, or sausage swiper will swipe that sausage. Wait, what if he slams your door? Why don't you just walk over and close it? And then he won't slam it.
Good question.
Great question. Okay, so we've talked about all of the different kind of things that we've experienced either at home or away when it comes to Christmas. And we just wanted to talk a little bit more now about celebrating Christmas on land or celebrating Christmas on sea. So one of the things to expect if you're on land, I think pretty much everybody can relate. We've kind of talked about that, but when you're at sea, what are some of the different things that you would expect at
Seasick?
Christmas?
What if you're seasick?
Yeah, being seasick, that's a big one if you're not even well enough to celebrate Christmas.
I think what I love about, because on sea we're talking about cruises, right? On a cruise, I love that you are just taken care of, and the Christmas spirit is all created for you there. You don't have to cook, you don't have to clean. All you have to do is celebrate Christmas. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we did not celebrate Christmas on the Hurtigruten cruise, but we got on the day after Christmas. And we were really regretful because we found out from all the other people on the cruise that they had this amazing Christmas celebration on the cruise where everybody kind of shared part of their culture together, and they stood around the Christmas tree on the ship and they sang Christmas carols in different languages. So it's just so many cool things that you get to do when you are not, we love traditions. We're a big tradition family, but when you step outside those traditions, just occasionally you get to learn so many more different things.
Yep, and I would like to say we haven't spent an official Christmas on a cruise. Okay, as a family, we haven't spent an official Christmas on a cruise. But that's something I would love to do. Disney, if you want to send us on one, we would not say no. Let's put it that way.
Okay, and then the last big question that we have about spending Christmas away or at home or away is, do you choose a cold weather destination or do you choose a warm weather destination?
I like a cold weather destination because you get to do snowball fights and you get to make a snowman. And you get to go study. Yeah, and in the warm destination, you don't get to do any of that stuff. No, you get to you get to do sand balls and you get to do
Sand angels?
What if there's no beach? Yes, but you don't get to go sledding because there's no snow. You could go right on the beach.
So the theme about surrounding Christmas seems to be snow. And so for me, I grew up in a cold climate, and I'm used to having snow. I associate snow with Christmas and cold weather. So being in a Caribbean climate doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
But I'm sure for anyone who lives in a warm climate, it's perfectly normal.
But I do have to say, going to Castaway Cay for Christmas was so festive. It you know, lots of times when it's warm, it just doesn't feel like Christmas, but there, it really did feel like Christmas to me because it was so festive. There's so many Christmas trees and lights everywhere that really, you know, decorations really make such a big difference.
Are there eggnog?
Yeah. And when you sell, and even, you know, being in Florida for Christmas, you've got so many decorations. They really go to town. So it really just depends on the atmosphere. But for me, and I think for us, you know, really, if it's gonna be Christmas, you know, we want to have hot chocolate. We want to be tucked under a blanket, and
Watching a movie.
Santa Claus has a big fur coat because he lives in the North Pole, and you know, we want to feel that experience as well. So let's take a vote. All right, we're gonna take a vote. Who, raise your hand if you like Christmas at home.
Yay!
Raise your hand if you like Christmas away from home.
Yay!
Raise your hand if you like Christmas on land.
Yay!
Raise your hand if you like Christmas on sea.
Yay!
Raise your hand if you like Christmas in cold.
Yay!
And raise your hand if you like Christmas where it's warm.
Yay! Okay, so
We like Christmas.
Yeah,
Everywhere. Everywhere.
we do. We like it everywhere, but I'd have to ask specifically, Catherine, if you could be home or away for Christmas, which one?
Really, I cannot answer that. It is such a toss-up for me. What I like to do is spend one Christmas at home, one Christmas away.
That's the perfect solution.
Yeah.
50-50, that's the deciding factor. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this episode of Diapers on a Plane. Tell us in the comments below, which do you prefer? Do you prefer Christmas at home or Christmas away, and why?
All right, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. For watching. Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Say Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Okay.
Up here. Up here.
Okay, next. Next. No, don't lift up your dress.
I'm the most handsome yet. I'm the most beautiful girl. I'm the most beautiful girl. I'm a girl. But I got the good looks. I got the girly looks. Well, I got the girly looks, not you. I got the best hairdo. I got the best girly hairdo. No, I got the best curly